Hello, everyone. I'm Emil Dobrovolschi. I'm a pilot for the last 30 years. I've been flying as a professional pilot. I'm an instructor and I'm an examiner.
And I'm Octavian Pantis. I'm an entrepreneur, a trainer, and an author. Catch us on this week's episode of the Jesse T Show.
Octavian and Emil, welcome to the Jesse T Show.
Thanks for the invitation. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. I hear that Emil just had the dream bike ride through Austria. How was your journey?
Oh, excellent. Great place, great roads, nice people, good food. Everything was perfect.
Beautiful, beautiful. And how is it? Is it rustic and farmland? Is it city? Is it a little bit of both?
Yeah, I went over I avoided the crowded or the motorways. I went through the mountains on the side roads. It was perfect to see the lakes, to see the surroundings. Beautiful country. I recommend to go there. Beautiful.
Sounds like a dream trip. And for you, Octavian, we connected a while back and you were telling me about who you are and what you do. Just kind of give us a high level overview of that journey, kind of who you are.
Sure. I've been an entrepreneur in the training industry. We have an international training and consulting business operating since 1999, and we work with international organizations, helping them on what we call the human side of business performance. So if you want to optimize stocks or launch into a new market, it's not us, but if there's anything that's people related, how do we improve retention? How do we grow leaders? That's what we've been doing. We've learned a lot. These last 2 years have been a super experience for us as well as for customers. It's really the time of change, probably the biggest change that our generation will see. Yeah. And it's a time of choice now, because things are not entirely shaped into a new form. Everybody, if they want to live life in a certain way, move to another part of the country or the world, or do something else, now is the best time to do that.
Yeah. There's a lot of change going on in the world, and there's a lot of, I believe there's a lot of hope behind all the things that are going on. So I think that you're correct in saying this could be a great time to manifest what it is that we're looking to create. And so for Emil, tell us a little bit about your journey and your background.
I have been flying as a professional pilot for the last 30 years or so, and for the last 18 years, I'm a holder and the privilege of a European Aviation Safety Agency examiner. And for the last 4 years or so, I'm a senior examiner with the Romanian Civil Aviation Authority. So I have been training pilots in my national carrier for the last, I don't know, maybe 25 years. So I saw passing through in front of me most, if not all, the pilots in my Romanian national carrier. And I have been telling stories to them, because every time I try to make somebody to obey the rules, to follow the rules, to follow the SOP, I try a most human approach, because if you make someone to understand the rule, it will be easier for them to obey or to follow the rule. And every time I looked for this side story to explain how the rule was created. And as Octavian said, in aviation, there's a treasure of know-how to keep in the air. I don't know, in 2019, there was a record of 250,000 flights, only commercial flights, that day in June. So imagine the quality of the people involved, the training of the people involved, starting with the pilots, cabin crew, air traffic controllers. So every time I try to make people understand in my job first, I will always start with a story. I will always start with the human touch of a normal or of a rule. It's easier to make people understand that way. And when I speak in front of the different audience, when I speak to doctors or I speak to architects or to people from administration, every time I'm speaking only about my job. And it's amazing to see people from a completely different sector of business that follow me after the speech. And, wow, it's exactly as in my business. Doesn't matter if they're working in a hospital or in a public building or a personal business. So the professionals everywhere, they have to follow the same rules. They have the same challenges. They have to communicate well and honestly. They have to lead and to know this, to solve the different situations they can come, So this is exactly my job. What I do better is to communicate well. I lead and I solve the crisis situations. This is my job.
I love it. We're going to get into that conversation pretty heavily here. I want to know really quickly from you, Emil. Tell me about how you actually got into aviation, into flying. Was this a lifelong pursuit, or was it a career change? And how did you come upon this journey?
I started very early because I'm passionate of flying since I was a little child. Even now, if I'm sitting at the terrace, I see I hear a noise. I'm looking for the aircraft to see what type, what engines they have. So I'm passionate about my job. So I started early. I joined the military academy, and I finished after 4 years. And then I flew for the Romanian acrobatic team. And then I joined the national carrier as a co-pilot, and I started step by step for the last 30 years, as I told you. And now I'm an examiner with them, and I'm flying mostly Airbus. I was a test pilot. I was for 15 years, I was the official pilot, the official flight pilot. I flew with all the presidents of Romania, with the governments, with the prime ministers in Romania, and not just for Romanian administrative leaders.
And as far as I'm curious about the I think you call it the Romanian team, or the Romanian almost like stunt team came to mind. Is this similar like the Blue Angels, or like these different?
Yeah, something like this. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And Octavian, tell me a little bit more about your journey and a little bit how you actually got connected with Emil.
Yeah. I heard about Emil on a flight in 2008. We were going on a vacation with my family. And what was special about that flight was that the captain addressed the passengers, and we were able to hear everything he said. Now, I'm sure that you and many of the people who listen to us have been on numerous flights where the captain speaks, but you don't understand what he or she is saying. Like sometimes I say that they speak holding their nose, like they go, "Hello, this is your pilot speaking," and then you don't understand a clue. But on that particular flight, we could understand the temperature outside, what the weather conditions would be, what we can see on the right hand, what we can see on the left hand. And at the end of the flight, I asked to meet the captain, and that's how I met Emil. And then we became friends, and we invited him a couple of times to speak to our team at Qualians. And every time he was with us, we found the stories interesting, fascinating, but not only that.